hoping and praying for my people to break through from this cursed generation. Then again, so is Satan. He been hoping and praying on our people to perish, keep us trapped in enslavement. So we curb our enemies and we swerve our enemies, and we learn our enemies to deter our enemies. Cause we found our enemies want us see our misery, want our heart, our mind, our goals, our soul, our light, our energy. We don't serve amenities or bow down to entities. Been down low for centuries, now we earn our liberty. Abba knows our history, cause Abba knows our destiny. Abba holds our history, cause Abba holds our destiny. Can't conform to iniquity, cannot run from penalty. Gotta live abundantly, so we can live in victory. On the path of the long and narrow, like tightrope is our specialty. You can look in my eyes and see. I done been high, I done been low, I done been broke, but I still stayed on the narrow road. I don't need cars, I don't need clothes. All I wanna see is them gold roads. Will I stay strong, stay on course till my reward? Only God will know. But what I do know is when I do fall, that's when I go hard. That's what I would know.
Yeah, we've been grafted to a greater life. Obstacles in our path, homie, we like demolition men, Wesley Snipes. Seeing people come and go, many leave. If you ain't forced, take a hike. Keep refining, keep grinding. This how we turn pepper into spice. We've been down for a minute, Willie Lynch and got the gender roles lopsided. On the rise, need the whole pie. Started off gas, fire ignited. Popped up out the blue, see, now your son on the horizon. I just need my pad and pencil when I'm writing, there's nothing quite exciting. Bought a new pack of them Tombos, that's dual brushes over time for. These my tour for my jailbreak, will I make it out? Only God knows. I gotta work till I faint, living the life you create. Give us blessings, we choose to be slaves. It's the Bible, ain't quoting Kanye, man. Late night in the daylight, get the truth out through the grapevine. Spirit inspired like Take 6, but I was born in that 8-9. Seeking wisdom from the TLP, homie, to stay in the will of my PLP, homie. On battlefield like the CLD, homie. The truth is organic, got Ripple T, homie. I came out the dirt, but I'm pushing.
I done been low, I done been broke, but I still stayed on the narrow road. I don't need cars, I don't need clothes. All I wanna see is them gold roads. Will I stay strong, stay on course till my reward? Only God will know. But what I do know is when I do fall, that's when I go hard. That's what I would know. Yeah.
Brand disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this platform by individuals, callers, or invited guests are their own. The information you hear does not reflect the overall views of all parties associated with the brand. We encourage everyone to research all things heard live or via archive for edification purposes. Discretion is advised.
Help keep the show on the air. If you want to help, you can send your donation through PayPal. The email is debatetalkforyou@gmail.com or through Cash App, $ Sal Showtime. Thanks for your support.
Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. You're now tuning in to Debate Talk for You Radio. I am Gabar Alaha, and this is the Sabbath Meal, episode 45. Today, we're going to be getting in, well, actually this evening, we're going to be getting into the potter and the clay. Before I begin, I just want to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh in the authority of His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, who was commonly called Jesus Christ, and to everyone tuning in now, whether it's live or on the playback, may Yahweh keep you and watch over you always. Big shout out to Sal Showtime for allowing us to do our thing here on this platform. You guys see the information scrolling down at the bottom, so make sure you like, share, subscribe, and definitely hit that like button so we can get picked up in the algorithm, and make sure you stay up to date to what goes on here on Debate Talk for You. So once again, Sabbath Meal, episode 45. Today, once again, gonna be, well, this evening, I gotta get used to that. Gonna be getting into the potter and the clay. The potter and the clay. All right. So why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Let me stop that for a second. All right. So why am I doing this topic? Why am I doing this evening? All right. So this is actually part one of a triple header. Debate Talk for You's got a very busy weekend that we got coming up. All right. I'm kicking it off. I saw that the Orthodox More went live earlier. And I wanted to make up the show that I missed last week. Had to deal with a personal matter, so I couldn't plug in episode 45 last week. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it this week, and I'm coming back tomorrow morning with episode 46. You guys already see it on the schedule. Parallels of Biblical Conduct with Elder Mike Holloway, and then Sunday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Zadok, the God Hop MC, a veteran here on Debate Talk for You, and Elder Mike, they're going to be getting in the ring. They're going to be having a debate, y'all. And that debate is going to be on are we still bound to keep the Sinai law? Are we still bound to keep the Sinai law? I will be moderating that. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Gonna try to work on getting some things simulcasted via Clubhouse. It's already scheduled on that side. So just make sure you guys check back. And as we get this weekend rolling, man, we got a big weekend here on Debate Talk for You. All right. So gonna be real busy weekend. So make sure y'all just stay tuned for the next couple days. All right. And also, I believe Monday, Debate Talk for You will be returning to Blog Talk Radio. Sal Showtime will be in the building making this return to Blog Talk Radio. So make sure you guys check out Debate Talk for You on Blog Talk Radio as well. All right. So without further ado, let's jump into this lesson for this evening. So before I do that, I actually got him when I actually bring my reader in. He's been on here before with me, man. He's rocked out with me a few times, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring him back in. All right, so we got Kalavana. Kalavana, you in the building? Shabbat shalom, and say what's up to the people.
Shabbat shalom, guys, and Shabbat shalom to everybody tuning in, whether we alive or even in the playback. We welcome y'all all here. This is going to be a pretty interesting lesson since we're dealing with the potter's clay. Let's get it in.
Yeah, I mean, I may get some stones thrown at me tonight, but again, as I march towards episode 50, I'm trying to deal with a couple more controversial topics, So, with that being said, we're not gonna waste no more time. Let's just jump right into it. All right. So we're gonna get this screen share. I just want to say Shabbat Shalom to Miss Aquinium.
Queen
Miss Aqueen I am. Miss Aqueen I am. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. This Queen I am. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's jump on into this. All right. So let's get this screen share up here. All right. Make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, let's keep us to the side for tonight. I was gonna put us on the bottom, but let's keep us to the side tonight. All right. So now make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, it should be good. All right. So now we're gonna kick it off. The potter and the clay. The potter and the clay. We're gonna kick it off here. Isaiah 64 and verse 8. Let's read that.
Isaiah 64, verse 8, and it reads, "But now, O Lord, thou art our Father, we are the clay, and thou art our potter, and we all are the work of thy hand."
All right. But now, O Yahweh, you are our Father. Okay. You're our Father. Okay. And we're the clay. Okay. He's the potter, and we're the work of his hands. Okay. So as we know in scripture, and as we know as believers of the Bible, the Most High is the one who fashioned us. All right. Fashioned us, into vessels. Okay. By the command of his word that we see in Genesis chapter 1. All right, when male and female were created. Okay. So that being said, we got to establish that first, who the potter actually is. The potter is the Most High. Okay. He's the one that gives the command, and his word goes out, and it fashions, and it forms, it performs, and does not return to him void.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is his show. Okay. And we're just clay. All right. He just formed us into the quote unquote characters that we are. Okay. So let's understand that first. All right. Now, with that being said, let's go over to real quick. Want to say Shabbat Shalom to Emmanuel Mathis. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. All right. So let's go over to Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 33. Chapter 33.
Yeah, let's get a shot of that.
Yeah, man, we going straight for the neck. Not wasting no time. All right. And we're gonna read verse 10 through 15. We're gonna read verse 10 through 15. All right. We're gonna establish this early. Okay. All right. And all right, let's read that.
All right, Sirach 33 and 10, and it reads, and all men are formed from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. In much knowledge the Lord hath divided them, and made their ways diverse. Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them he sanctified. He sat near himself, but some of them hath he cursed and brought low, and turned out of their places, as the clay in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure. So man is in the hand of him that made him, to render them as liketh him best. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another.
All right. So now let's walk that back through. All right, starting from verse 10. So all men come from the ground, from the dust of the ground, from which Adam was formed, right?
Mhm.
And everybody comes out of Adam. Okay. So no argument there. Verse 11. In much knowledge, the Most High divided the men that were created from the ground and made their ways diverse. Look, we all come from Adam, but we ain't all the same. Okay. We all come from Adam, but we're not all the same. Okay. We are different. I mean, we have different physical features. That alone tells you that we're not all the same. I mean, some of us have melanin, some of us are more fair skinned, some of us have more kinky hair, some of us have more straight hair, some of us have different colors and textures of hair. Some people are tall, some people are short, some people are more heavy set, some people are more petite, and slim, and so on and so on. Okay. We all come of Adam, but we're not all made the same. Okay. We're all diverse in our ways. Okay. Okay. And we're going to see to the extent of what that goes. All right. Because now in verse 12, it says, some of them he blessed and exalted, some he sanctified. We're going to see who he blessed and sanctified. All right. And then it says, and he sat near himself.
Near himself.
Right. All right. But some of them he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places. Okay. So some people are set up to be blessed and exalted. Some people are set up to be cursed and brought low. Okay. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure. Okay. Most High can do what he wants. Remember, this is his show. We're just clay. He's the potter. This is his show. He can do what he wants. Okay. So man is at the hand of him that made him to render them as liketh him best. Okay. So to render them as liketh him best. So we are just clay in the potter's hand. We're just clay in the Most High's hands. All right. And he's the potter and he's fashioning things to whatever liking he deems necessary. Okay. Now verse 14 and 15, when we see these two verses, now we understand that why good is set against evil. All right. Why there's life against death. Why the godly is against the sinner and the sinner against the godly. Because upon all the works of the Most High, there's two and two. There's opposites of each other. Now, I'm not going to go into that scripture, but also when you read in Ecclesiastes, it talks about the same thing. All right. How one thing is set against the other. All right. A blessing upon someone could potentially mean a curse upon someone else. Okay. We see that with the curses when we read Deuteronomy 28 and Deuteronomy 30, how the blessings upon Israel means they're exalted and the nations are low. And then when it's reversed, Israel's low and the nations get exalted, the head and the tail. Okay. So we see that time and time and time again. Okay. But this is the Most High show. It's the Most High show. Okay. So now that being said, let's go to Romans chapter 9.
I was wondering if you was gonna bring that one up.
Hey, look, like I said, man, we going straight shooters tonight. We going straight shooters. All right. Cause last time I was here on Friday night, I did a show and then folks had things to say, So, we going straight shooters tonight. All right. So Romans chapter 9. And let's pick it up at verse 18. And we're gonna go down to verse 21.
I knew it was coming.
All right, go ahead.
Romans chapter 9, verse 18, and it reads, Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he hardeneth. That will say then unto me, Why doth he find fault? For who hath resisted his will?
All right, so let's stop there for a minute. So look, Most High can have mercy on who he's going to have mercy on, okay? Which is why when you read in the verses above, it says, "As it not written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated." So the Most High can hate something if he wants to. He can love who he wants to love. Who are we to tell him what he can love and what he can hate? He fashioned us. We can't then go tell the Most High, well, you can't do that. Most High be like, man, I made you. I can beat you down in the dust again if I want to. Okay. So again, this is his show. Okay. He will have mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will harden if he's gonna harden. Okay, go ahead. So now, verse 19, Salakis. So now, verse 19, when it says, "Thou will then say unto me, Why doth he yet find fault? Who hath resisted his will?" All right. So he's like, well, wait a minute. Well, if he's gonna have mercy on who he's gonna have mercy on, if he's gonna do all that, then why find fault in anyone? Why just not have mercy on everybody? For who hath resisted his will? Okay, who have resisted the will of the Most High? So why is he yet finding fault if he can have mercy on whoever he wants to have mercy on? Go ahead, verse 20.
Continuing from verse 20. Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against God? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, Why hast thou made me thus? That's
right.
A statement.
Right. God, why you make me like this? Why you make me this way? Why am I doing this? Why you it's like, why God? Why God? Why you? I mean, I know we've all done it. Why God? Why am I like this? Why am I like this? All right. Let's actually no. Yeah, let me get 21 before I go to this precept. Go ahead, get 21.
All right, verse 21. Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
All right. Look, just like how he did out of Adam. Everybody out of Adam, everybody comes from Adam, but everybody's not the same. Some nations are higher, some nations are lower, some people are blessed. Some are not as blessed. It is what it is. That's just the reality of the Most High. He can do what he wants. Okay? He can do what he wants. We are just clay in his hand. So if he wants to make the nation of Israel his top people and everyone else like dust that sits on the balance scale, that's what it is. Now, I personally don't go to the 1 and 2nd Ezra's anymore, but I mean that one says far worse things. They like spit.
Spittle.
They like spittle. Or they like the drop that falleth from a vessel, like that last drop. Like, who cares about that? That gets washed down the drain. Who really cares about that? Okay, not unless you're really super thirsty, but most people, they just drink it and that's it. They're not worried about the last drop. Okay. But again, I personally don't go to that scripture anymore because, as I've said in time past, 2nd Ezra is not a book that I personally teach out of, only because of it's hard to verify it with sources other than the Latin Vulgate. So anything beyond that is hard to verify it with. So, but anyway, so getting back to the topic at hand. So now we see this here, right? We see that Paul is saying this right here, right? And this is the same chapter that we as Israelites go to when we read it in verse 4 about how this is talking about Israel. Okay. So this is where we go to. Okay. So now continuing on. Let's get the precept to this. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 2. 2 Timothy chapter 2. And we're going to start at and we're going to read verse 20. Okay. So 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 20.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 20, and it reads, "But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, and to some honor and some to dishonor."
Okay. So even in the Most High's house, I mean, look, even in the body of the Messiah, you got some vessels that are not as honorable. Okay. Like it's spoken about. Okay. Like the toe. The toe can't necessarily do what the hand does. The hand does a lot of work. I mean, the toe doesn't do what the hand does. You know, the eyes don't do what what your knee does. But even in the great house, there's not only vessels of gold and silver, there's also of wood and of the earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. So among the nation of Israel, even among the nation of Israel, you're gonna have some vessels that are dishonorable. Okay.
Tell me about it.
Some vessels are dishonorable among the nation of Israel, let alone among mankind. But among our people, you got some vessels that are dishonorable. Okay. And they're reserved for judgment. They are reserved for judgment. Okay. We're gonna see more of that. We're gonna see more of that. All right. So let's continue on now. Let's go to Job, book of Job. Real quick, just want to say Shabbat Shalom to Kashmir Gatekeepers Network. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Appreciate you tuning in. All right. So once again, y'all, this is the first of a triple header for myself. I'll be back in the morning with another Sabbath meal episode. This is the first one, and then I'll be hosting a debate on Sunday between Zadok and Elder Mike. All right. So now we are at Job. Let me get here. Job chapter 4. And we starting at verse 17. All right. And we're gonna go down to verse 21. All right. Whenever you're ready.
All right, we're in the book of Job, chapter 4, verse 17, and it reads, "Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall man be more pure than his maker? Absolutely not. Behold, he put no trust in his servants," damn, that's deep, "and his angels he charged with folly. How much less in them that dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before the moth.
Mm-hmm.
They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. Doth not their excellency which is in them go away? They die even without wisdom."
All right. So now I believe this is like Eliphaz speaking. Let me go back up to the top real quick. I believe it's Eliphaz. Yeah. So this is Eliphaz speaking to Job. Okay. So this is what he's saying to him concerning a mortal man. Okay. Mortal man. Okay, look. If the Most High doesn't put trust in his servants because the servants are disobedient.
Mm-hmm.
Servants are disobedient. Okay. The angels, his messengers, he charges with folly,
Birds.
Okay. So how much less than them, how much less in them that dwell in houses of clay? Oh, well, who is that? That's us. Okay. That's us. Whose foundation is in the dust that came from Adam. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which are crushed before the moth. Okay. Because day after day, people die. Day after day, people die. They perish forever without any regarding. Okay. Once you're dead, man. That's pretty much it. Once you're dead until judgment. Okay. People mourn and then they move on. It's pretty much what it is. For the most part. I mean, you have exceptions to the rule, when people take it hard, but for the most part, people mourn and then they move on. Okay. Scriptures tell you to do that. Mourn for 7 days and then move on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So doth not their excellency which is in them go away? Right. That whatever breath that the Most High breathe into you to make you a living soul, it's gone now.
It's gone.
It's
Mhm.
gone. Okay. They die even without wisdom, because again, the breath of the Most High is not in you anymore. Okay. It goes back to Him. Okay. Just as it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 12. All right. The breath of the Most High goes back to Him. Okay. The dust, the flesh returns to the dust from which it came.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And then your soul is what stands in judgment. Okay. So hence why man is 3 parts spirit, soul, and body, or spirit, soul, and flesh. Okay. So now understanding that, how the Most High can fashion us, and how, you know, um, how much less trust he would put in us. It's like, nah, we gotta put our trust in Him. Okay. We gotta put our trust in Him, because He is the potter and we are the clay. Okay. We can't fashion the Most High into what we want Him to be.
Which so many
Okay.
people try to do.
Right. He's trying to fashion us into what He wants us to be. All right. Because otherwise you're just gonna die. You're just gonna wither away back to dust. Okay. You're just gonna wither away back to dust. So now, continuing on. Now let's go to. We're gonna stay in Job. Let's jump to chapter 10. Chapter 10. I'm gonna try to get through this. I'm not gonna try to keep y'all for too long, as you guys already know. I like to be in for maybe like an hour or so, and then be out. And because I got a triple header, definitely want to reserve my energy for the next 2 shows that I got this weekend. Okay, so Job chapter 10, and let's start at verse 3, and we're gonna go to 12. So we're gonna do a little bit of reading here.
No problem.
All right.
All right. So Job chapter 10, verse 3, and it reads, "Is it good unto thee that thou shouldest oppress, that thou shouldest despise the work of thine hands, and shine upon the counsel of the wicked?
Mm.
Hast thou eyes of flesh, or seest thou as man seeth? Are thy days as the days of man? Are thy years as man's days? Like it. That thou inquirest after mine iniquity, and searchest after my sin."
So now this is Job. This is as you see in verse 2, he says, "I will say unto God." So this is what he will be speaking to the Most High. Okay, so these are his words that he's speaking to the Most High. Okay, so that way you guys can know where this context is coming from and what the foundation of it is. Okay, this is Job speaking to the Most High. All right, and then now when he starts out, he says, "Is it good unto thee that thou shouldest oppress and thou shouldest despise the work of thine hands," which is us, okay, "and shine upon the counsel of the wicked?" Because remember, everything was fashioned after the Most High. Everything was fashioned after the Most High. But now the complaint is coming, where it's like, wait a minute, you fashioned us all, but you're letting your light shine upon the wicked and not upon the righteous. Okay, so this is his complaint. So now he's like, "Do you got eyes of flesh?" Like, listen, like, will we in this modern age, I don't think we would dare speak to the Most High like this. I don't think we would even dare do it. Okay. Or seest thou as a man seeth? It's like, come on, remember, we're the clay. What did it say back in Romans? Look, can you be someone to say, well, why is it like this? Why is it like that? Why is it like this? Why is it like that? Okay. So yeah, we definitely got to understand that we can't be speaking to the Most High like that. He can do what he wants. He can do what he wants. All right. Job didn't understand that because he was going through his affliction. He didn't quite understand that. All right. Real quick, want to say Shabbat Shalom too. Man, this is a long name. If you believe in the Most High, put your hands in the air. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, that was a long day. If you believe in the Most High, put your hands in the air. All right. So now continuing on now.
Yeah, we had
So
seven.
now, so yeah, so we see he's questioning the Most High. All right. So he's like, "Are your days as the days of man? You know, that you're going to inquire after my iniquity and search after my sin? All right, go ahead.
Thou knowest I am not wicked, and there is none that can deliver out of thine hand. Thine hands have made me and fashioned me together round about, yet thou dost destroy me. Remember, I beseech thee, that thou hast made me as the clay, and wilt thou bring me into the dust again? Hast thou not poured me out as milk, and curdled me like cheese? Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and hast fenced me with the bones and sinews. For those who don't know what sinews is skin. Thou hast granted me life and favor, and thy visitation hath preserved my spirit.
Okay. So now, look, You know how back when I was in church, you often heard about, well, you got to have a relationship with God. You got to have a relationship with God. I want to ask, we asked the clay, do any of y'all have this kind of relationship with God where you go to him and you complain like this? Do you really go to him like this? This is what the prophets did. It got this real with them. They were completely transparent with their emotion to the Most High and what they were dealing with as they were going through it. That's what the Most High wants, though. Most High is like, yeah, I want you to come to me mad. I want you to come complaining. You know how, right? Right, like how those of us who got children, our children come and complain to us, mommy, I don't want to do this, or daddy, that hurt, I don't want this, I don't want to do that, I don't like this, I don't know why is this, why are we gonna do this for? Like, that's what the prophets did. They went to the Most High like that. In the same way, they went complaining, like, hey, why is this happening, man? Why, how long do we got to suffer? How long? Like, this is a real relationship with the Most High. So, but we got to be mindful in how we speak to him, because are we going to like the response that we get? Are we going to like the response? Okay. But the Most High does want you to be genuine. The Most High does want you to be genuine. It's what he wants. All right. He fashioned us to be genuine in our confessions and in our prayers to him. Okay. Be real with him. You can't hide anything from him. So just keep it real.
But just prepare for the answer you might get.
Right, exactly. Because if you go questioning stuff, look, just be prepared. Be prepared. Because as we see, our forefathers and foremothers, anytime they question the Most High about why he was doing something, the answer that they got, they didn't get a sweet answer. Of course, the mercy was there, but the Most High is bitter and sweet. Okay. All right. So now let's continue on. Let's get back to this. Okay. So now we are. Oh yeah. So now we see here that Most High, Job is saying how the Most High formed him, fashioned him together. So look, are we going to go back to the dust again? Yes, the flesh. But if we are deemed worthy, we will reign with him in the spirit. Okay. Our souls will be preserved. Hence why verse 12 says, thou hast granted me life and favor, and thy visitation hath preserved my spirit. All right. So he said the key thing there, because that's still something that can happen, because Most High can do what he wants. Remember, he's the potter, we're the clay. This is his show. All right. Let's go now to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15. Wisdom of Solomon 15. And reading verse 7. So for those of you who aren't aware, we may have some first timers. Reading from Wisdom of Solomon chapter 15, verse 7, reading out of King James Bible 1611 version, which contained the Apocrypha until it was removed in the 1700s. Okay. So Wisdom of Solomon chapter 15 and verse 7. Let's read that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15, verse 7, and it reads, for the potter, tempering soft earth, fashioneth every vessel with much labor for our service. Yea, of the same clay he maketh both the vessels that serve for clean uses, and likewise also all such as to serve the contrary. But what is the use of either sort? The potter himself is the judge.
All right. So now this is dealing with potters that are of men. All right, potters that are of men, this is how they deal with the things that they fashion. Okay. Some vessels are for clean uses, and there's also those that serve for the contrary. Okay. Now, I'm setting this up like this because we got to deal with some realities and some truths when it comes to this scripture about what type of vessels people are. Okay. When it comes to who's who. In Most High fashion this particular people for this reason, and Most High fashion that those particular people for that reason. Okay. So we got to deal with that. Okay. Because as we see this right here is dealing with a man, we just went through a bunch of scriptures where the Most High pretty much deals with it the same way. One lump unto honor, another lump unto dishonor, right? Same thing here, just like when men do. Okay. He maketh both the vessels that serve for clean uses, and likewise also all such as serve to the contrary. So the contrary of a clean use. Okay. So a clean use would be, okay, yeah, this is a clean cup. You know, I can pour some water or some juice in it and drink out of that. Okay. Then you got like another cup where it's like, you know what? That's just my cup. I'm gonna dip my paintbrush in. Okay. You got one for clean use and one to serve for the contrary. Okay.
That even as far as the food too, clean foods and the other foods that are not clean because they clean, right. They're used as vessels or something else.
Exactly. Most High he made both the clean and the unclean animals. They were commanded to be brought forth. Okay. For purposes. Exactly. For purposes. So now how does this relate to us as people? Okay. How does this relate to us as people? So for those of you who don't know, I'm pro-Israelite. So we're gonna deal with Israel first. All right. Let's go there. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 18. Jeremiah chapter 18. And we're gonna start at verse 1. Okay. And let's work our way down to verse 8. Yeah, down to verse 8. All right, there we go. Jeremiah 18, starting at verse 1.
Jeremiah 18:1, and it reads, the word which came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will cause thee to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he wrought a work on the wheels, and the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. And he made it again another vessel, as seemed good to the potter to make it. Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, O house of Israel, can I not do with you as this potter, saith the Lord? Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are ye in my hand, O house of Israel. At what instant shall I speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom, to pluck it up and to pull down and to destroy it? If that nation against whom I have pronounced turn from their evil, I will repent of the evil I thought to do unto them.
All right. So I want to say Shabbat Shalom to Ak Malak. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Definitely appreciate you tuning in. All right. So now the prophet Jeremiah kicks it off concerning the house of Israel. Okay. We see this is a parable that was given to the Most High coming the Slacky that was given to Jeremiah from the Most High. And this parable is concerning a potter and clay that was in his hand. Okay. So he says, and the vessel that he made of clay, verse 4, was marred in the hand of the potter, right? So whenever you think about potters, potters, they have this wheel where that they use to help fashion certain things that they are making, right? And it's basically like a pedal that they use to kind of like spin and churn things and stuff like that, right? So that way things can be formed and molded into proper shape. Okay, so that's what's talking about in verse 3 when it says, and behold, he wrought a work on the wheel. That's what that's speaking about. Okay, so now it says, and the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So something that is marred is decayed or completely ruined, much like how when it says in the law to not mar the corner of your head. Okay. Neither shall you round the corner, not mar your head nor round the corner of your beards. All right. To mar your head is to decay or completely ruin. Okay. It's to where it's just ruin. So now it says here that he made it again another vessel as seemed good to the potter to make it. Okay. So this analogy of this parable is being compared to the house of Israel. Cannot I do with you as this potter? Okay. So the potter did what? He marred the first one in his hand. And then the second one, he made it again. He just made a better one. Okay. So Most High can do that. What example we see of that is what? When he was speaking to Moses, like, look, I'm getting ready to kill everybody and make a nation out of you.
Man.
That's where we see him being the potter. Like, look, I can just destroy this. I can just destroy this vessel of a nation and make a nation out of you.
Same thing he did with Noah and the flood.
Okay. But Moses interceded. We know he did. Right. So now, verse 7, when it says, at what instant shall I speak concerning a nation and concerning a kingdom to pluck it down, then to pluck up and to pull down and to destroy it? If that nation against whom I have pronounced turn from their evil, I will repent of the evil that I thought to do unto them. Okay. So this is our job, Israel, is because, Most High, we are clay in the potter's hand, and we are a vessel that the Most High has had to mar over time. But he's had to mar it over time, and he's had to kind of reform and refashion it. He's like, well, but look, this same vessel, if it repents and turns back, I won't mar it anymore. Okay, I won't mar it anymore. Remember, the Most High can do what he wants. This is his show, but he's merciful because that's in Torah, that's in the law, that he is merciful and long suffering and loving kindness. He shows loving kindness and he's gracious unto thousands that love him and do what? Keep his commandments.
Sounds simple.
People make it difficult though.
Greedy.
So the part is like, well, I'm gonna mar you. I'm gonna mar you. So now let's get some precepts to this. Let's go to Lamentations chapter 4.
I felt it coming.
Kind of Lamentations chapter 4. And we're gonna read verse 1 and 2. Okay. Lamentations chapter 4, verse 1 and 2. Remember, this is dealing with Israel. Go ahead.
Lamentations 4 and 1. How is the gold become dim? And that's deep. I hope people paying attention to that. How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold, how they are esteemed as earthen pitchers, the work of the hands of the potter.
So Israel, we were fashioned to be like silver and gold.
Precious stone.
Precious stones. All right. What does that mean though? That means that because silver and gold, when it's fashioned, it's got to get brought through fire because it's got to get tried by fire to be purified. Okay. Gold and silver gets put in fire to be purified. So that way it can have that nice glistening glow.
Top shelf.
Indeed. So Most High's got to take us through the fire. He's got to try us. He's got to try us. He's trying to mold and fashion us, O Israel, into a vessel of silver and or of gold, something of great value. We are his angolas, as it says in what is that? I want to say it's in Micah. All right, we are in his angolas. We are his jewels. We are his precious jewels. Okay, so how was the gold become dim? The most fine gold changed. All right. So remember in Job it says, wait, you shine on the wicked? No, shined on the righteous, but you became wicked. You became dim. You became dim. You became wicked. Okay. The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. The precious sons of Zion, comparable to fine gold. How are they esteemed? As earthen pitchers. It's like a gold cup. But think about it, man. We're like gold pimp cups in the Most High's hands. When you think about it, you know what I'm saying? Or I mean, just take it to the next level. Think about royalty, like kings and queens. They drink out of gold chalices. That's what we are. We royalty. We're
And
royal vessels.
them.
Right. And we made ourselves dim. Okay. Let's get some more precepts on this.
Let's go.
Let's go to Isaiah 29.
I felt that one coming. You must be like 16 or something like that.
Isaiah 29. We can start at verse 15. Yep. We can start at verse 15. We're going to go down to verse 23.
Let's get it.
All right. So Isaiah 29, starting at verse 15 down to verse 23.
All right. Isaiah 29, verse 15. And it reads, Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, Who seeth us? And who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall they the work of him that made it, he made me not, or shall the thing that, excuse me, I'm adding words like it, or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding?
So this is where Paul is quoting from in Romans chapter 9. Paul once again quotes the gospel, which is the law and the prophets. It's what he deals with. Okay. Deals with the law and the prophets. He deals with the Old Testament. Okay. So this is where he got it from. In Romans 9, he got it from Isaiah. Go ahead.
Or continuing from 17. Is it not yet a very little while, and Lebanon should be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest? And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Go ahead.
For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that proveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, who redeemed Abraham, concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale.
All right, so we're going to address that precept because it's used among Israel, but we got to address it for proper understanding. Go ahead.
But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the God of Israel.
All right, so now, let me first address verse 22 real quick. Actually, no, let me just walk down to it. Okay, so now we start from verse 15. It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel. Woe is disaster or destruction, to hide their counsel from the Most High Yahweh, and their works are in the darkness. And they say, well, who's going to see us? Who knows that we did it? Okay. Right. It says, surely the turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? Okay, so remember, this is where Paul is drawing his understanding from. He's drawing his understanding from what is stated here. The clay cannot do anything against the potter. Okay, so this is why idolatry is such a heavy sin, because it's like, how can a statue do something to the one who formed the statue? Why do you form the thing that you created? Why? I mean, why do you worship the thing that you formed and created?
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense. Okay. So now we see here that in verse 17, it is not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall return to a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest. Yes.
Mhm.
All right. That will happen. All right. And in that day, the deaf shall hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. Okay. We see that happening with who? With the nation of Israel. We are the deaf and blind. We were spiritually deaf and blind, did not know who we were, did not know that we were supposed to be keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commands. We were supposed to be operating as a priesthood. We were supposed to be a light to the rest of the world because we are vessels of silver and gold. We have been darkened, okay, but we're going to be made light, okay. For the terrible one is brought to verse 19, the meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. So the meek is who's getting salvation. The meek of Israel is who's getting salvation, not just Israel. You got to be meek.
Meek, right.
You got to be meek. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Meekness is one of the fruits of the Spirit. Meekness is not against the Torah. That means it agrees with the Torah. It agrees with the gospel. It's in agreement. It's in harmony. It's actually what keeps you law abiding. It's operating in meekness. Okay. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make them right. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. So you trying to look, y'all look like going against those who's actually trying to bring the correction. Going against those who's actually trying to bring the correction and turn aside the just for a thing of not. What? So you can keep Christmas? So you can keep New Year's? So you can keep eating pork for a thing of not. Persecuting those who's trying to tell you, hey, what you've been doing is wrong. You need to repent.
Ain't got every excuse in the world.
You're gonna get brought to naught. Okay. Those who do that will get brought to naught. Okay. Remember, clay, potter. It's the Most High show. What he say go. Okay. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. We will no longer be darkened in obscurity. We will be vessels of light once again. Our faces will shine bright. Why? Because the glory of the Most High will be upon us. That is one of the promises, which is one of the promises, is the glory of the Most High being upon us where we shine bright. All right. But when he seeth the children, the work of mine hands in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the God of Israel. Okay. So we see what the Most High's plan is in terms of how he wants to fashion the nation of Israel. Okay. We're going to get some more. Let's go to Isaiah 45.
You're going to precept that 22, right?
Isaiah 45. No, we're going to do verse 9 through 11. Isaiah 45, verse 9 through 11. Okay. So Isaiah 45, verse 9 through 11. Let's get this.
Isaiah 45 and 9, and it reads, Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, What makest thou? Or thy work, he hath no hands? Woe unto him that saith unto his father, What begettest thou? Or to the woman, What hast thou brought forth? Thus saith the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, and his Maker. Ask me of things to come concerning my sons, and concerning the work of my hands command ye me.
All right. So we see. So woe unto. So look, the thing that Paul was talking about, the prophet said, "Woe unto you." For the thing that Paul said, like, look, you can't be clay trying to question the Most High. You got to be careful with that. That's why Job. He was really. It was like a real thin line. That means that Job had to be real close to the Most High in order to even have that type of conversation with him. Because you got to be careful speaking those kind of things to the Most High. All right. You just got to be careful with your words. Okay. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou? Or thy work? He has no hands. So woe, destruction unto him that saith unto his father, what begettest thou? Or to the woman, what hast thou brought forth? Okay, so remember what we opened up with Isaiah 64:8. O Yahweh, O Lord, thou art our father. We are the clay in thy hands, and you are the potter.
Mm.
So woe unto him that saith, so you gotta be careful what you say to the father.
Yeah, because
Okay?
that rod ain't gonna be spared on you. That's for sure.
Right. What begettest thou? It's like you're gonna say to the Most High, like, why you bring these people forth? I mean, okay, like for example, none of us better not. And look, I'll go on record and say it. None of us better not err. I may get a stone, but hear me out. None of us better not ever dare say to the Most High, why'd you let Esau be born?
Right.
You can't do that. Look, Esau was created for a purpose. Okay, it's for the Most High's purpose. It's for His glory, whatever that is. The Edomites got a purpose. They were fashioned for a purpose. Okay, whether it's to be a vessel unto dishonor, then hey, that's what it is, because he hates Esau. So if that's what it is, that's what it is. But we can't question that. And that's what some Christians do. They do question that. They begin to question stuff like that. Whenever folks on the Israelite side bring that type of stuff out, it begins to get questioned. So it's like, now you question. Look, that's why we always say, you got an issue, take it up with the Most High. Take it up with Him and see how He deals with you concerning it. We're just giving you the truth. We're just bringing forth the reproving, the correction. So that's all we're doing. Okay. Thus saith Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel and His Maker, ask me of things to come concerning my sons and concerning the work of my hands, command ye me. All right. And He's gonna tell you when we read verse 12 and 13. Like, look, I made the earth, I created man upon it, I stretched out my hands on the heavens and all the host of heaven. I commanded, I raised him up in righteousness, I direct his ways. He shall build my city. Like, again, this is His show. And he shall let go of my captives, not for price, nor for reward, saith Lord of hosts. Now we just added that in there, to just show.
It's a show.
Look, this is his program. This is His program at the end of the day. All right. Let's go. All right, now let's go back to Jeremiah. Now let's pick up chapter 19. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 19. And do I want to get? Yeah, I want to get all of the.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot because he said a lot.
Yeah. Let me see. Do I want to get this one? Let me see. All right, let's skip over this one. This one.
Gonna be a lot right there.
Yeah, let's skip over this one. Let's go to Isaiah 30. So we're gonna skip over that one. Let's go to Isaiah 30, and let's pick up verse 12 through 14. Isaiah 30, verse 12 through 14. All right, here we go.
All right. Isaiah 30, verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereupon, that's deep. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it shear to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit.
All right. And this is prophecy. Remember, this is the prophet speaking, but this is just in a different analogy now, because this same thing is spoken of, but in a different analogy when he's talking about the broken branches. Okay. The broken branches has the same type of analogy. Israel becomes broken off, a portion of Israel becomes broken off, and now the nation is fragmented and it's got to get put back together, i.e., those scattered Israelites being grafted back in. Same thing here concerning the vessel that was formed by the potter. It's shattered into pieces, and now it's got to get put back together. All right. All
Scattered.
right. And it's because of this iniquity. Right. Exactly. The scattering of the pieces of the broken vessel. Okay. Now, remember, we were fashioned in the matter of silver and gold, and that broke. All right. If you try to break an actual gold vessel, you can try. It's not gonna shatter. Gold is not designed to crack. Okay. It's not designed to crack, especially if it's got a lot of density. It's not designed to crack. So the fact that Most High broke it, that took a lot of force. Right? If we were fashioned after the manner of silver and gold, and Most High broke that. That took some force, and it took some heat. It took some fervent heat to slice through that type of mineral. All right. So that's what we were. The Most High made us a dense vessel of gold and silver, and the heat had to be brought forth in order for us to break us as a nation.
His heat was kindled or waxed hot. Imagine how that was.
Yes, indeed.
The level of festivity.
All right. So now that was Israel, right? So now that was Israel. So now let's go to Psalm chapter 2. We're gonna deal with this last section, and then we'll be done. All right. So Psalm chapter 2. And let's read verse 8 and 9. So Psalm 2, verse 8 and 9. Here we go. All right, Psalm 2, verse 8 and 9.
All right. Psalm chapter 2, verse 8, and it reads, "Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the utmost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel."
So now this is where it's going to get interesting, because remember, we've been dealing with, hey, look, everyone comes out of Adam. Everyone's diverse. That comes out of Adam. Everyone is a vessel that comes out of Adam, but it's diverse. So ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance. Come on now. This is classic Israelite one-on-one teaching. Okay. This is classic Israelite one-on-one teaching. The nation's got to serve Israel. Okay. And the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Okay. We don't even need to go into Second Ezra. It's right here in Psalms. We wouldn't even deal. So Israel, if you ever get issues about the Apocrypha, and you can't go to Second Ezra chapter 6, it's right here in Psalms. It's right here. Okay. It's right here. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Okay. So what does that mean? That the nation of Israel is supposed to be like a potter, and the nations are supposed to be like clay, the nation of Israel's hands. Okay. That's what it's supposed to be.
Keyword supposed.
That's what it's supposed to be. Okay. Check this out. Let's go to Revelations. Chapter 2. Revelations chapter 2. And let's read verse 26 and 27. Revelations chapter 2, verse 26 and 27. Let's take a look at this precept. Go ahead.
All right, let's get it. Revelation chapter 2, verse 26. "And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations."
The heathen.
and he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
Just like we read in Psalms.
As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers.
Just like we read in Psalms.
As I've received of my Father.
Bahashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Those are his words in red. You guys see it on the screen. Okay.
Any question?
All right, let's continue on. Let's go to Isaiah 41. Isaiah 41. Isaiah chapter 41. All right, Isaiah 41. And let's read verse 21 through 25. Isaiah 41, verse 21 through 25. Okay. All right, go ahead.
Isaiah 41, starting at 21. Produce your cause, saith the Lord. Bring forth your strong reasons, saith the King of Jacob. Let them bring them forth, and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things, what they be, that we may consider them, and know the latter end of them, or declare us things for to come.
Okay. So produce your cause, saith Yahweh, bring forth your strong reason, saith the King of Jacob. Okay. So now this is concerning idols. Okay. Concerning the idols. So it says, let them bring forth and show what shall happen. All right, let the idols do that. Let them show the former things. Okay. Can the idols do this? Okay. Most High's asking for proof. Produce your cause. Okay. What they be, what they may consider them, and know the latter end of them, or declare us things for to come. Okay. So this is concerning idols again. Go ahead.
Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that ye are gods. Yea, do good or do evil, that we may be dismayed and behold it together.
Go ahead.
Behold, ye are nothing, and your work of naught. An abomination is he that chooseth you.
Okay, so now, behold, ye are of nothing, and your work of naught. An abomination is he that chooseth you. Who chooses these idols initially?
That's
the other nations. The other nations. The other nations initially chose these idols that nation Israel has went to go follow and choose. So that's what brought the nation of Israel to naught, as we read earlier. Is because of what they went to go seek out that was of nothing. Okay, which is why Isaiah, we don't have it in here, but Isaiah 40 talks about the nations are nothing, less than nothing, because they choose things that bring them to nothing, to naught. Okay, go ahead.
I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come. From the rising of the sun shall he call upon my name, and he shall come upon the princes as upon mortar, and as the potter treadeth clay.
All right, so I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come from the rising of the sun, and he shall call upon my name, and shall come upon the princes as upon mortar, and as the potter treadeth clay. Okay. So we know that this is judgment for idolatry. And if you follow idolatry, Israel, especially that which comes from the other nations, because when you read scriptures, I mean, Israel didn't just come and just formulate their own idols. They was getting it from the other nations. They didn't just make it up on their own. They constantly got it from the other nations. Constantly. Okay.
And then hey, let me spit 29 real quick, because that sums it up in my personal opinion.
All right. 29. Behold, they are all vanity. Their works are nothing. Their molten images are wind and confusion. Okay.
So basically, what I'm saying is, all these other nations that created all these idol images, they are all vanity. They're works, and they were the partners of those particular things, but those things profit nothing. Is basically what I'm saying.
Indeed, they profit nothing. They profit nothing. Okay, so let's get ready to wrap this up. We got a couple more. We got a couple more, and we'll send the link out to anybody wants to come in. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and send this link out now. Let's send this link out now. If you want to join the discussion, just remember to keep it clean. Debate Talk for You does not condone any foul language, disrespect, or name calling. No ad hominems. Let's keep it to the information. Okay.
And then shalom to it's okay to love Esau too.
I don't even see that. Where I don't.
It's down there in the chat.
Oh no, I don't see that comment. I don't see that comment. You no, I don't see. Oh, oh, there it goes. I see it now. All right. It's okay to love Esau too. Okay. Interesting. All right. So the link is in the chat if you guys are gonna come in and join the discussion as we get ready to wrap this up. All right. So now we're gonna go to Nahum chapter 3. Nahum chapter 3. And let me get it real quick. Salakia, y'all. Nahum chapter 3, and we're gonna read verses 14 and 15. All right, Nahum chapter 3, verse 14 and 15. Let's read that.
All right, Nahum chapter 3, verse 14. Draw thee waters for the siege, fortify thy strongholds, go into clay, and tread the mortar, make strong the brickland. There shall the fire devour thee, the sword shall cut thee off, it shall eat thee up like the cankerworm. Make thyself many as the cankerworm, make thyself many as the locust.
All right. So now when you read Nahum chapter 3, this is addressing the other nations. All right. That's what this is addressing. The other nations. As you see right here, Egypt and Ethiopia was her strength and was infinite. Put in Lubun were thy helpers. If you go up even further, it says right here, woe to the bloody city, that the prey, the part of not. Okay. Now this is often paralleled with what it says in Ezekiel as well as in Jeremiah concerning Babylon. Okay, so that's what's often referred to. That's how we know this is dealing with the other nations. That's how we know this prophecy is dealing with the other nations. Okay, last one is Habakkuk chapter 2. Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4 through verse 8. We're going to close it out here. All right, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4 through verse 8.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith.
All right, so we live by the faith of the Most High. We don't live by our own faith. So that's where Paul's quoting this from. When it says the just shall live by faith, is by his faith. It's by the faith of the Most High, which is his commandments, which is his word. Go ahead.
Yea, also, because ye transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathered unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
Go ahead.
Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that laddeth himself with thick clay.
Go ahead.
Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them?
Go ahead.
Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein.
So we see how whenever the prophets declare a judgment on the nations, we see how it comes forth. Though You lade yourself with thick clay, suddenly you're gonna get bit. Okay, suddenly you're gonna get destroyed. Remember, we are all clay in the potter's hand, in the Most High's hand, including the other nations. Okay, nation Israel is just closer to him, much closer. Okay, it's the vessel that he keeps close to him. It's the vessel that he cherishes, that he keeps close to him. Okay. Okay, but the other vessels, I mean, the Most High can just pulverize those in a minute, in a hot second. He made those vessels too. Most High made all the nations, but the one he keeps close to him is the nation of Israel. Okay, the other nations, they're not that close to him, so they're not honored. They're not given the same honor. So because they're not given the same honor, Most High can just in an instant pulverize them. All right. And these are the same vessels that we use for our services. We use for our services. This is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be using the nations for our services. Okay. That's what it's supposed to be. They're supposed to be the tail. We're supposed to be the head. All right. So once again, the link is in the chat. Y'all, the link is in the chat. Just wanted to drop that on y'all real quick. The link is in the chat if you want to come in. We'll hang out for a few minutes to see if anybody joins. If not, I'll definitely be back tomorrow morning with Elder Mike. We're going to be getting into parallels of biblical conduct. Should be a good build prior to the debate that he will be having the next following day on Sunday evening with Zadok. All right, so make sure y'all come back in the morning for that as well. Be sure to check out Debate Talk for You over on the Blog Talk side, returning on Monday, the 21st. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Okay. With that, while we wait to see if anybody's gonna come in, Calavana, you got any words that you want to share?
Nah. That was straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the whole potter and his clay, vessels of honor, vessels of dishonor, it was just concise. It was straight to the point. I hope people who are that wasn't privy to those scriptures got a little understanding with it all. And then Israel, when it comes to us being this potter's clay, and then when we in turn have to do the same thing, I don't know if y'all noticed in some of those scriptures it said to do it righteously, because some people, in my personal opinion, I'll leave that alone. I will say that for another episode.
Indeed. Yeah, man. You know, like I said, if y'all got some topics that y'all want on the platform, let us know, and we'll definitely try to bring them out. All right. Yeah, the potter and the clay. The potter and the clay. All right. We're gonna get ready to go ahead and get off of here. Get ready for tomorrow morning. So definitely just wanted to go ahead and pop this show in to make up for last week. My apologies again, dealing with personal matters. I had to step away, so wanted to give y'all a treat, you know, and make sure that I make do with these episodes. All right, to make sure that y'all don't miss out. All right, didn't want to go for too long, because I did say that I would be doing them straight through. So being that I missed one, I'm picking right back up where I left off, and I'm not missing the beat to stay on schedule. All right. So that being said, we're gonna get some final words. Calavana, you can go ahead and take it from there.
All right, everybody. For everybody who done came in live or who's going to catch this post-production, if you will, we appreciate y'all coming through to get a little taste of these precepts. You know what I mean? Hopefully that wasn't grievous to you. Gabar, I want to thank you for bringing me on as the reader. I definitely appreciate that. And also shout out to Sal Showtime for having this platform running as long as he did. Make sure y'all follow, like, subscribe, even patronize, because, you know what I mean, brothers like us, we wouldn't be able to do this, you know what I mean, without a particular platform that he got. So shout out to Showtime. As y'all see at the bottom, all the information is there, so I don't need to repeat it. May Yahweh keep everybody, and Shabbat Shalom for the rest of Israel who's observing.
All right. And I'm gonna follow up behind him with just my final words. Nothing else left but to say, may Yahweh keep you and watch over you always. I bid you all a farewell and Shabbat Shalom.